Hey, this is TimmyG. Welcome to my video overview of DJay Pro AI. This is Algoriddim's newest DJ software, and it's acting as the updated version of DJay Pro 2 for Mac. Currently, this software is only available for Mac, but it's also available for iPad and iOS devices as well. In this video, I'm going to go over all the basic features that we have in the software, and then in future videos, I'm going to go more in depth into some specific topics. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. So one thing that I want to mention before I get going with all of these buttons and knobs and whatever, if you already own DJay Pro 2 for Mac, you can download this and get most of these features free. It's basically just like an upgrade to DJay Pro that is free for you. Okay. Now, in order to get all of the features in this, which include the new Neural Mix AI, which allows you to mix their AI generated stems, you do need to pay the subscription fee, which I believe is about either $7 a month or you can pay $50 per year. I have not done that yet. I will be doing that soon, especially in my other videos where I cover topics where it's necessary. But I downloaded this a few days ago and I just wanted to give a brief overview. So let's get started. So I'm going to go from like top left to bottom right. If you've seen my DJay Pro 2 overview video, that's what I did, and that's my most watched video at the time of this recording. So I'll do that method. So right here, this is the master volume, and you can configure your audio devices. If you click here, this will bring you to the preferences. The preferences can also be found just at the top if you hit DJay Pro AI and then click on preferences. Okay, so that'll get you there. And this basically controls everything that you want to be able to do in the software. Right here, this controls your pre-queuing, which once again you can do in the preferences. But right now these are all my audio devices that are possible. You can also do split audio. I have a video on that, how to set up basically a left-right mono splitter cable to use as a DJ. Right here, this is the microphone. If you want to have a microphone go through the software, you can set it up through here. Once again, the preferences, you can also do that there. And then to record either an audio mix or a video mix, that is going to be done right here. Just a quick note, you cannot record if you are using a streaming service. So if you can see down here, there's all sorts of streaming services that you can choose from. And if you're going to use songs from that, you can't record through the software. I've done 4 videos now on workarounds how you can record your sets if you are streaming, but none of them are using the software. All right, I'm going to go along here. So if you see my mouse, now it's in the top middle. So right here, this is the hotkeys. So these right here will allow me to set hotkeys. So let's say I wanted to set a hotkey right here. Now I have a hotkey. You can get up to 8, I believe. And then now this is a quick loops thing. So you see. And then you can do manual, which is just like the classic in and out, or setting a 4-beat or however many beat loops that you have right here. And then you can click this, and this will allow you to change the default. Okay, and then right here, the auto. This doesn't play it for you, but it allows you to set it. So if I want to set this and then play it in time with the track, then I can play it. By the way, this the track that's playing on the left deck is my new track, Thumb War. I just released it last week, so check it out if you want to hear my new song. Anyway, the last thing that we have down here, we just did bounce. That's what it was on by default. And then saved. So if you have any saved loops, you can save a loop. Let me just see. So I'll try to save a loop right here. So right now my loop is on, and it's for 8 beats. So if I hit that, it should, let's say I get out of it somewhere. I'll get out of this loop right here. Let's say I get out, and then I click here. It gets me to that loop right away. Okay, so that's what we got right there. And then the last thing from this menu is the effects. So these are just the pad effects. Okay, so I believe all of this stuff can be programmed to your pads on the controller here, except for maybe not some of these loops. But like these are pad effects right here. So if you play, I'll turn off the loop. You get the idea. So just some quick effects that you can toss onto your mix. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this off, and then this is the neural mix. Okay, so I am not allowed to play neural mix right now. I'm going to do a completely different video on neural mix. And Algoriddim actually has a whole separate neural mix software that helps you prepare tracks. And I actually would probably recommend that over the live mixing, just because you have more control over the stems that it produces. But anyway, I'll talk about that in another video. But you can see down here, it gives you the option to isolate the drums. You can set how loud or quiet the drums are, the harmonic, the vocals, and you can decide whether or not you want it to be drums, harmonic, vocals, or drums, bass, melodic. And then this is the 2-stem option. We are in the 3-stem option. Okay, and then if you click this, this is really cool. This is a mixer that basically mixes the vocals from one track to another, the instrumental from one track to another, the drums from one track to another. So there's a whole lot of possibilities that you can do with the neural mix. And once again, I'll get into that in my other video. My one thing is, when I see this, I'm wondering if Algoriddim would ever make a controller that has 3 crossfaders, maybe even 4, 3 for these, and then 1 right here. But that's just wishful thinking on my part. Anyway, I'm going to get out of the neural mix. You guys can wait for the next video on that for me to talk more about that. And now we'll go to this effects tab. So this is kind of like the old DJay Pro effects option. So I'll play my track. So there's some echo. There's a dry wet knob. Dry means all the way down. Turn this off. Dry means all the way down. You have all sorts of options that you can choose from. So these are the ones that were in DJay Pro 2. But if you look down here, there are more that if you have the Pro subscription, then you have access to all of these effects. So if you're someone who likes using a ton of effects, the Pro subscription is for you, because all of these come with it. Okay, and you can also assign these effects to the different instrument stems if you're using the neural mix part. So you could just do it to the drums or just to the other instruments. And if you see, if you don't have the full subscription DJay Pro AI, like I do not at the time of this recording, you'll get this message. So it lets you try it for like 7 days, I believe, and then you have to start paying. Anyway, we also have audio visual effects, which are the same from DJay Pro 2. And then you have straight up visual effects, which only affect the video and not the audio. Okay, so you can have up to 3 on at the same time. You can adjust them. You can map them to your controller if you're using a controller. But anyway, that is what we have up here. Now I'm going to go over here. There's the time here, which is very important if you're playing a set and there's a hard cutoff time of whatever. Let's say it's 10:15 right now. Let's say it's 11 o'clock that you have to stop playing. You get an idea. You don't have to like go up and check the time up there. Right here, this shows you your hot cues and all this other stuff that you can see per deck. So the effects that we had over here, now you can see them for each deck, which if you want to see the hot cues maybe a little bit easier, you can do it. Like if you didn't want stuff like that up, that's an option that you can have. And then this right here is the waveforms. You can hide the waveforms, which gives you more library space. Some people don't like being able to see the waveforms, or they don't need it. They don't mix by looking at the waveforms. Some people check to look at the waveforms. So either way, you can have that on or off. This right here is the sampler section. So, sorry, that was loud. But you have all sorts of options in the sampler. I'll make a new updated video on the sampler. But if you want to check out my old video on the DJay Pro 2 sampler, you can check that out. I go over how to add samples to that and all sorts of fun stuff. This is a new setting. It's like the looper thing. It basically kind of allows you to make your own beat. And I believe it's only for the Pro subscription. I'll make a whole video on this. This has been on the iPad version for quite some time now, and it is pretty cool to mess around with. But if you are just a DJ who's playing tracks and not really making your own loops or your own beats, you might not be using this a whole ton, but it's definitely fun to check out. Let's see if it lets me do it. So obviously that message just popped up, but you could hear the loops playing. If I had the full subscription right now, you can push on the different things to get different sounds. And then you have different options of genres right here. And I believe this allows you to mix. Yeah, you can mix your setting, and then that hides, so you can only see 2 different options at a time. But once again, this is a huge new feature that deserves its own video on. So I'm going to get out of this right now. Over in the top right, we have our options to view, our viewing options. So right now I'm in the Pro setting. You can go to the Classic setting that has the old vinyl-looking turntables spinning and the vertical waveforms. And I believe you can change the waveforms to horizontal down here. So yeah, like that. You have your one deck mode, which is great for prepping tracks. I have a whole video on prepping tracks back in DJay Pro 2. And then you can do auto mix, which auto mix, I'm going to do a brand new auto mix video too. Some of the new auto mix features are great. Auto mix AI in DJay Pro 2 was great, but they've just made it better in DJay Pro AI. And then we have 4-deck mode, which is great if you are going to be using 4 decks, and you can do that either vertically or horizontally. And then last but not least is video mode. And there's all sorts of cool things you can do in video mode. Right now, these are some of the new visualizers, which are better than the DJay Pro 2 visualizers, in my opinion. And there's some new ones that are exclusive to the paying members. So if you look here, you get all sorts of visualizers. So once again, I'll do a whole new video on the video mode and visualizers. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. And you can also see there's audio samples that you can download for that looper mode and just loops in general. So anyway, tons of new content for people who subscribe to the DJay Pro AI software. Okay, so now I'm going to get back to our Pro mode. That's what I use most likely. Okay, and then I will go down here to our tracks. So this is the album art, title of the track. You get a brief overview of the track. All your hotkeys will be here. I haven't put hotkeys on my tracks yet. Artist name, the key, and then the time. This right now I have it as how much time is left, but if I click here, I have how much time has passed. I typically like it on how much time is left, but you can do whatever you want. Here we have the Algoriddim logo, obviously. Same stuff over here. So I'm going to go down to this, the left deck. So we have our sync button right here. We have our tempo slider, which right now I have it on 75%, but 75 is the largest and 8 is the smallest. You can also edit the BPM here, but I would recommend doing that in 1-deck mode. Okay, this little note right here keeps the key on, so if you listen to this, I'm actually going to speed the tempo up to make it a bit more drastic. We'll make my range 75. So, but if you notice when I change the tempo, the pitch does not change. So, and if this is off, you can hear the pitch changes. Okay. Anyway, we have our deck right here. If you want, you can scratch like this by just clicking and dragging. It just gives you some information. It tells you the percentage that you've changed the tempo slider. Okay. So these 2 buttons right here are quick ways to either slow your track down or speed them up. So if I play my track and I click the plus, it speeds up a bit, and then when I let go, it slows down to its regular speed. And then if I hit minus, it slows down temporarily until I unclick, and now it is going at the correct speed. And here we have our EQs. So I'll just show you the EQs right now. There's the highs, there's the mids, there's the low. And then to get them back to normal, you can just control click, and then they'll just reset to where they were. Okay, this looks like the auto gain, I believe. So yeah, that's the gain. You can adjust the auto gain settings in DJay Pro AI preferences up here. And then what's pretty cool and I'll go over this in my Neural Mix AI, is you can have your EQ knobs be mapped to Neural Mix stuff. So you can make the melodic part a little bit lower or the bass a little higher and so on. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I want to get this back to EQ. This is the filter. So I'll play this. And one cool thing about the filter, and I also just double click this, by the way, to get this back to normal, is now you can control the resonance, so how aggressive that sound is. So if you go to Preferences and go to Mixer, if you go to Filter Resonance right here, I have it on high, but you can put it on low, medium, whatever you want. Okay, so now this is the track fader. So controls the volume. And then here we have our decks. This is not on. And then this right here gives you some options to either use Neural Mix to slice, slip. You can turn slip on or off, slice on or off. Dark mode makes it extra dark. I like it gray though. And then you can zoom in on the track or you can zoom out on the track, so on. And then these plus and minuses here do the same thing as this plus and this minus over here. All right, so now going down here, I kind of explained some of the stuff when these knobs are up, but this is our play button, okay? And then you can adjust how fast or slow it takes to turn on and off in the preferences. This sets your temporary cue. So if I want this point right here to be my temporary cue point, I can do that by hitting set. And then if I hit play right here, I can click this to get back. And then if the thing is stopped, I can just hit that to get there. I can hold it to keep playing, but I'd have to be able to click probably on my controller if I wanted to keep it playing, or else it'll stop when I unclick it. Okay. This is my auto loop, so it sets an 8-beat loop right here. So you get the idea. You can shorten it. And then you can make it longer. Let's see, I think, 32 beats is the most. Okay, and then this little knob is another Neural Mix AI knob. So I'll be able to show you quickly before it yells at me. So it gives you a little taste of what that is like. So anyway, there we go. So anyway, this is your crossfader. Okay, and these buttons auto mix to the next track. So if I have this track going, you get the idea. You can adjust the auto mix settings. Once again, I'll make a whole video on the new auto mix here. Anyway, we have the same stuff over here, so let's move back down. The bottom half of the screen is based off of track selection and library. So you can see that you have your iTunes, or now that they just call it music. You have a title, if you're a title member, SoundCloud, beat port, beat source, and then any videos that you have on your hard drive, any files in Finder. So if you're going to use a flash drive, you can add it by clicking this, and then if this loads for me, I can show you what you do. So then I'd go down to my whatever external drive that I wanted to use there, and I would click add, and I'd be able to access those songs. And then this shows you what you can see. So like, let's say that you're not a title person, you can just turn it off. And let's say that you have SoundCloud as your subscription, you can turn everything off, so you only see that as your subscription. But I'm going to keep them all up for now. Okay, so I'm just going to go to, this is the iTunes. So you can scroll up to all your playlists. Okay, you can sort by artist, you can sort by albums, and you can sort by genres. Okay, this is very similar to the way it was in DJay Pro 2. And I've done some videos, I've done Tidal and SoundCloud's streaming service trials. I've not done Beatport or Beat Sources yet. I will do those in the future at some point, but it just hasn't really been a priority for me. Right here, this expands your library. So this gets rid of the basically everything, and just shows you a maximum library. So if you're comfortable beat mixing by ear, or it's more important for you to have a larger library, then this might be for you. But a lot of people do like to see this other information as well. Let's see, right here, you can analyze all of your songs on your hard drive. I'm not entirely sure if you can do that with the streaming services. I will do that in my next streaming service video, and I'll take a look. But if I analyze all these songs, it will take some time. I'm going to cancel it. You guys can get the idea. It'll just basically give you all of this information if it's not already there. If I go over here, this is a way to filter your songs by either BPM or key or any other thing that you have. I rarely use this, but if you want to filter out songs, be my guest. And then this right here shows the list view, which is my preference, but you can also see it by the album art of the song, as my computer's being really slow. And there we go. So you see all of these, the album artwork. This is my TimmyG playlist. Shout out to Mike Bloom Design. He did most of these album artworks, and Jack Mackey did one of them as well. So those are my shout outs. If you are interested in contacting them for some album art, let me know. I'm going to go back here to the list though. If I go to search music, you can search within your playlist. Pretty simple. This will also allow you to search on these streaming platforms, which is very helpful if you're in a pinch and you want to stream a song during a set, so you can find it on the fly. Right here is your auto mix, and I believe that's this right here at the bottom. So if you click this opens up the auto mix window, and you have your different options to view auto mix in different ways. And then you can adjust your auto mix settings here. This brings us to the preferences. I'll go over that in the auto mix video that I'm going to make in the future. But for now, if you want something close enough, you can check out my auto mix AI video from DJay Pro 2. And last, we just have this little window is kind of a short way to see some songs. I forget exactly what it's called. Sidebar. So this is the sidebar. You have your queue. If you want to use the queue, you have match. So if you are using a streaming service, it'll match songs. So if you're playing a song and you want a suggestion for another song, it might let you do that. And then it shows recent songs here that you've played on the right. So I believe that's everything in a nutshell. Like I said, there's so much to this software, and I'm going to do a lot more videos. I'm really happy that they have upgraded to DJay Pro AI on the Mac now. It used to be on the iPad, but now this is a totally usable software for DJs who DJ with laptops, which is a lot of DJs. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, and I'm going to make a lot more videos and upgrade my DJay Pro playlist. But yeah, that's about it. If you like this video or if it helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or video suggestions, be sure to leave a comment. If you want to see other videos like this and check out my original music, DJ videos, DJ live streams, and music production tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. One brother,